Hello and welcome to Tail Talkz. In today's episode, we'll be talking to Dr. Saloni Joshi, who is a small animal veterinarian from Pune. She runs her clinic, Dr. Joshi's Possum Vet Clinic, and has over 8 years of experience. Her special interest is in feline behavior. In this episode, we'll be talking about common cat issues and how to manage them. Hello, Dr. Saloni Joshi. Let's start with the questions directly. You said you are a feline behaviorist. Can you explain what that exactly is and how does it differ from a trainer or a vet who specializes in cats?
So what I do is I'm a veterinary behaviorist. So a clinical behaviorist who's a vet is normally known as a veterinary behaviorist. And this is something that we do. This certification is done after you graduate as a vet. So basically it's done as a post-graduation certificate. So basically anybody who's a veterinary behaviorist is basically a veterinary doctor. So what we do is we help diagnose behavioral problems in pets and help to treat them as well. So we are licensed to prescribe medication. With animal behaviorists who are not, first of all, they are non-vets. So they are not, they don't have the expertise to diagnose medical problems related to behavioral problems, and they are not licensed to prescribe medications as well. So they deal with more of the training part, or the behavioral modification part, which is non-medical aspect. So that is the basic difference, to put it in layman's words, the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist has to be a doctor first. So it is like that.
Why are cats such a pain exactly? And do most behavior problems really just come down to cat personality or are they indicating something deeper?
Well, first of all, I don't think cats are a pain at all. I am completely biased. I am what they call as a cat person. So I think they're brilliant. They're marvelous. I don't think they're a pain. What I think is that they are in pain a lot of times, which people don't know because they are excellent at masking pain. And that's why a lot of behavioral problems, that is where behavioral problems stem from. That when there is a pain and it goes undiagnosed, cats tend to behave abnormally, and that is then looked at upon as some kind of an abnormal behavior or a bad habit, and somehow that leads to more intensive problems. So I think cats are not a pain, but more likely to be in pain, and that's why I show abnormal behaviors.
What are the top behavioral problems that you encounter in your cat patients?
I would say urine related issues, that is house soiling, urinating outside the litter box, or pooping outside the litter box. That is on number one. Vocalization, that is excessive meowing or howling or all sorts of odd sounds, maybe. That is one issue. Thirdly, I think compulsive behaviors, that is repetitive. Compulsive is repetitive behavior, say trying to bite themselves or trying to catch the tail all the time, or you can say over grooming. Like grooming is normal, but all the time overtly grooming is not normal. So again, that is compulsive. Or pica, as eating things that they're not supposed to eat, like inedible stuff, that is another problem. I would say aggression towards maybe human animals in the house, or towards other animals in the house. These are some of the common problems that I deal with.
You said that a cat catches the tail. Is it something like that a dog does?
Yeah, that's compulsive. Yes, something like that. Yes, similar to that. Absolutely.
How does a cat parent know the difference between an odd habit or whether it is a behavioral issue?
Yeah, so bad habits or odd habits, as you say, odd habits, I believe you're trying to say bad habits, probably are, they develop over a period of time, and they're learned behaviors. So for example, if you're on the phone or you're on the laptop, somebody who's all the time on the laptop, and your cat wants to gain your attention, and maybe she comes and say bites you or nudges you, and then you immediately give her that attention, that it becomes a reinforced behavior. So she knows, okay, if I want to gain the attention of my owner, I can do this, and then it becomes a habit. So that is a learned behavior. It happens over a period of time. But when it is related to a clinical problem, say like a disease, it happens suddenly. So if a cat who's very active, otherwise playing, and suddenly you observe that okay, she's very inactive, not playing, she's hiding, then that means then you need to see if there's an underlying medical condition. So that usually happens as a sudden change.
If we have to discuss aggression, why do some cats just bite or swat out of the blue, and what should the owner do in that particular instant?
Swatting is sometimes, you have so many Insta reels where, the cat has, say, a lipstick in front of her and she's just, swatting it. That is play behavior. That is very much instinctive. Okay. But swatting the owner or biting the owner, I find that it is done primarily because somehow the owners are not able to understand the body language of the cat. So I'll again give you an example. I was observing this when I had gone for a visit at somebody's place. Cats have different personalities, just like how humans have, and some cats don't like to be touched. Yeah, they don't like physical contact. But humans being humans, and the fact that this is my pet, they want to mollycoddle, manhandle, they want to hug constantly. Yeah. So, the cat was actually being very, very calm and patient. The owner, the caregiver was trying to pet her just like this, and the body language of the cat changed. Her ears flattened. She started to, twitch her tail, flick her tail a little bit, and she was looking away. Now, this I feel is a warning sign that the cat doesn't want you to touch her. You can, as cat owners, understand what the cat feels as pleasurable and what it doesn't feel as pleasurable. The owner continued to still caress the cat. Then the cat, the flicking of the tail increased in intensity, and she looked visibly upset. Her pupils were dilated. She tried to, even she had a bit of a jerky movement, tried to look away. That hint again was overlooked. Again, she started to pet her, and that is when the cat just bit her in the sense that just sort of a little bit nibbled on her finger and ran away. Now, what do you think? When people come and tell me that my cat is aggressive and tries to bite me, this is what it is most of the times, that people don't really respect the body language. They don't understand the communication either because plainly because of the lack of awareness of a body language, or they just want to somehow overlook what is going on, and they continue to do things which are unpleasant for the cat, and then that's why the cat behaves in a certain way. And what happens is, the next time you try to do it, the cat anticipates this, and what it's going to do is directly probably going to scratch or swat or bite and then run. So this is the most common thing. Not that cats are not aggressive towards other cats or whatever. Those things are also there, but this is very common. When it comes to aggression towards owners, I think the body language that they don't understand. There are enough warnings that the cat gives, even in the wild, because they don't want to fight or they don't want to get into confrontational, situations, because it doesn't help them in any way to, sort of, they become vulnerable to other predators as well. So that doesn't help them. So I think it's just that aggression, also again, aggression can also stem from medical situations. So for example, if my cat has a has a degenerative spinal problem, an old cat, and I try to, pet my cat in that position, it's going to get angry because it's in pain. So I think there are lots of reasons for that. Maybe just try and check the underlying reason.
Litter box problems are a big deal. What are some typical reasons cat refuse to use the litter box properly?
Yeah, so again, another example, I just had gone for a visit yesterday, and I observed that the litter boxes were very dirty. So I asked the owner, how often do you clean it? He said once in 2 days. So it is like using your toilet and cleaning it once in 2 days, or flushing it once in 2 days. Would you like to use such a toilet? No. That is the biggest common problem, that people don't clean the litter box as often. And cats are very sensitive about it. So they don't like to use litter boxes that are dirty. Again, size. आता तुम्हीच बघा, तुम्ही माझ्याच क्लिनिकवर आला, तुम्ही वेगवेगळ्या साइजेसचे कॅट्स बघत आहात. हा मोठा आहे, बाहेर एक ती मांजर आहे, ती लहान आहे. सो लिटर बॉक्सचा साईज एक असला नाही पाहिजे. तुम्हाला यू हॅव टू सी व्हॉट द साइज ऑफ युअर कॅट इज अँड देन गेट द लिटर बॉक्स अकॉर्डिंग टू, बिकॉज इफ द कॅट इज सपोज टू सिट अँड देन इट शुड हॅव इनफ स्पेस टू टर्न अराउंड इफ ही और शी वॉन्ट्स टू, राईट. सो ते एक आहे. लोक क्लोज लिटर बॉक्सेस ठेवतात, आणि मग कधी कधी मांजर मोठं असलं ना की त्यांचं डोकं आपटतं तिकडे, आणि मग त्यांना स्क्वॉटच करता येत नाही. सो ह्या सगळ्या फिजिकल गोष्टी, किंवा लिटर सबस्ट्रेट चेंज करतात. आय डोंट नो व्हॉट, एका गोष्टी म्हणजे एका पर्टिक्युलर सबस्ट्रेटचा जर सवय असेल पेटला तर ते ऍज फार एज पॉसिबल चेंज करू नये. पण अवेलेबिलिटी नाही होत, कधी कधी काहीतरी कुठलं तरी अगदी फॅन्सी कुठलं तरी इम्पोर्टेड घेतात आणि दॅट इज नॉट अवेलेबल, मग दुसरं आणतात, मग कॅट गेट्स अपसेट बिकॉज इट्स यूज टू. सो कॅट्स आर बेसिकली अॅनिमल्स ऑफ हॅबिट. दे डोंट लाईक थिंग्स, दे डोंट लाईक अनप्रेडिक्टेबलनेस, त्यांना सगळं प्रेडिक्टेबल पाहिजे. when you change the litter substrate, they don't like it. Then that is when it causes more problems. Again, लोक फ्रेग्रंट लिटर हे ठेवतात. आता मांजराला ज्याला मातीमध्ये जाऊन हे करायची सवय, त्यांना न्यूट्रल म्हणजे त्यांना बेसिकली काही स्मेल नसेल असं लिटर सबस्ट्रेट हवं असतं. पण तुम्ही लॅव्हेंडर आणि लेमन आणि काय वाटेल ते आजकाल मिळतात. So basically it is to appease the human, not the cat. That is also very, and also their senses are much intense, so that must be so irritating for the cat. So these are some of the reasons why I think there are litter box issues, because the management of the litter box is not correct from the owner's part.
Can a cat's environment lead to behavioral issues? And how crucial is their home arrangement, particularly in a city apartment?
I agree with it, because see, apan sudha, like 20-25 years ago, we were, cats used to be like in the background, की येते जाते, आम्ही खायला घालतो, and they used to be mostly outside ना, असं होतं. इवन विथ माय पेरेंट्स, मांजर अंगणात असायचं आणि ते खायला खाऊ घालायचे, कधीतरी आत यायचं बाहेर जायचं. सो दे वर ऍक्च्युअली so much connected with nature, which is what they're supposed to. It is what's supposed to be like, right? They should be able to hunt. They should be able to observe other cats. They should be able to observe other animals. So हे सगळं, it was a part of their enrichment. Sunlight also, basking in the sun, rolling in the mud, scratching on the bark of a tree, jumping up on a tree branch and observing things is what they are supposed to do. Imagine putting this particular cat in a 1 BHK apartment, which has nothing. Sometimes windows are also not, they don't have proper windows also. Those are also like completely, blackened out, काही दिसत नाही, ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी. So cats develop a lot of boredom होतं. Also they get stressed out because they get frustrated basically. How would you feel if you're we keep going out, coming back, आणि तरी पण आपण म्हणतो आम्हाला घरी बोर होतंय, in spite of having Insta and all these things. A cat doesn't have anything. आणि what we feel, it's a very wrong assumption that cats काय करतात, खातात पितात, लिटर साफ करायचे आणि ते पडून राहतात. ते पडून राहतात कारण तुम्ही त्यांना काहीच ऑप्शन्सच देत नाही ना. You don't give them any options. That's why you say cats are so lazy, they don't do anything, they're all the time like lazing around in the house. That's not true. They're probably lazing around because they have nothing to do and they're so bored. So depression, even in humans, it can have, like, people sleep for days and days because that is one of the symptoms. It's in cats also, hiding, sleeping all the time, because there is no enrichment. So you have to understand that whatever the cat can do outside, it's meant to do outside, at least a little bit if you can do for it in the house, like providing scratch pads, for example, providing a cat tree so that कुठेतरी चढून बसायचं असतं, ते करतायत. आजकाल लोकांकडे माळे पण नसतात, लॉफ्ट नसतंच कोणाकडे. सो मग मांजर फ्रीज मध्ये वर चढलं की ते चालत नाही, लोकांना किचन मध्ये आलेलं चालत नाही, किचन टॉप वरती बसलेलं चालत नाही, पण इट्स ओनली ट्राइंग टू फाइंड अ प्लेस टू सिट, विच इज हायर. सो ह्या गोष्टी प्रोव्हाइड केल्या पाहिजेत, टॉईज प्रोव्हाइड केले पाहिजेत, की नाही खेळला तरी ऑप्शन ठेवायचं. असं काही नाहीये, तुमच्या समोर बरेचदा खेळत नाहीत, पण रात्री जेव्हा आपण झोपतो तेव्हा दे आर नॉक्टर्नल, बरेचदा ते खेळत असतात. तुम्ही जर कॅमेरा लावला तर तुम्हाला दिसेल दे आर डुईंग दॅट. माय 21-year-old कॅट प्लेस and we don't have to play with him. असा एक बॉल ठेवलेला असेल ना, तो कधीतरी रॅन्डमली येऊन whenever he wants to, he does that. So I think environmental enrichment in fact is the major problem, that ते व्यवस्थित मिळालं नसल्यामुळे cats get stressed out and frustrated, and that's why develop a lot of behavioral issues.
How do you typically work with a cat presenting behavioral issues? What is a typical consultation like?
Yeah, so basically these consultations don't happen in my clinic because most of the times cats who come to the clinic are very they're extremely anxious, nervous, so I don't get to see how they are behaving in their natural environment because most of them are scared. And the car ride also to the clinic, that is a major letdown for the cat because they don't like car rides, they don't like to be stuffed in one small basket. ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टींमुळे we never do that in the clinic. If a client tells us that the cat is behaving abnormally and there is something that I need to really come and look, try and assess what it is, then they usually book a home visit appointment, and where there is a very the detailed form where the history involves right from where they brought the cat, whether there were any other cats in the family, whether are there any other pets in the family, all that, what they feed, because nutrition is also very important. काय खातात, कसं आहे, त्याचं पण सगळं आम्हाला रिलेशन बघायला लागतं. सो राईट फ्रॉम द न्यूट्रिशन, मॅनेजमेंट, काय एक्सरसाइज असतो, काय प्ले टाइम असतं, आणि घरी गेलं की बरेचदा ऍज आय सेड मॅनेजमेंटचा इश्यू असतो. सो आम्हाला बघितलं गेलं की फीडचं कुठे ठेवलंय, फीडिंग बोल कुठे आहे, वेर इज द वॉटर बोल, वेर इज द प्ले एरिया, वेर इज द लिटर, हे सगळं बघितलं की आम्हाला पण सोपं जातं की त्यांच्या घराचा एक लेआउट डोक्यात ठेवून कसं त्यांना मॉडिफाय करता येईल, मॅनेजमेंटल कसं आपल्याला चेंज करता येईल, ते मग इट बिकम्स इझी फॉर अस. बिकॉज ओनर्स काय होतं, छोट्या छोट्या गोष्टी असतात, त्यांना वाटतं एव्हरीबडी ट्रायज टू डू द बेस्ट फॉर देअर पेट्स. फ्रँकली वॉट एव्हर हॅपन्स मोस्टली हॅपन्स बिकॉज ऑफ द लॅक ऑफ नॉलेज अँड अनइंटेन्शनल. सो बरेचदा फूड आणि वॉटर बॉल एकत्र ठेवलं जातं, जे अजूनही म्हणजे लोक बरेच करतात असं, फूड वॉटर बॉल एकत्र ठेवतात. पण काही कॅट्सना ते आवडत नाही, बिकॉज नॅचरल एन्व्हायरमेंटमध्ये ते फूड जिथे खातात तिथे पाणी पित नाहीत, कारण पाणी कंटॅमिनेट होतं ना, त्याच्यामुळे त्यांना ते आवडत नाही. मग ते म्हणतात माझी मांजर पाणीच पित नाही हो, पण मग ती जाऊन बाथरूम मध्ये जाऊन पॉटीतनं पिते. म्हणून तुम्ही कुठे पाणी ठेवताय, ते पाणी आणि हे शेजारी ठेवलेलं असतं बरेचदा. त्यामुळे मग ते चेंज केलं, जागा चेंज केली की इमिजिएटली त्याच्यात तुम्हाला हे कळतं. सो मी विचारलं सेपरेट बोल आहेत का, हो म्हणतात. लांब ठेवले का, तर मग थोडासा विचार करायला लागतात. मग ते म्हणतात नाही, मग त्यापेक्षा तुम्ही घरी या, आम्हाला सांगा कुठे काय ठेवायचं, म्हणजे आम्हाला सोपं जाईल. किंवा एनरिचमेंटसाठी सुद्धा कधी कधी लोकांची घरही लहान असतात, सो त्यांना कॅट ट्री आणि हे ते ठेवणं पॉसिबल नसतं. मग त्यातल्या त्यात हाऊ आय कॅन ऍडवाइज देम की काय आपल्याला छोटे मोठे चेंजेस करून, किंवा बजेट नसतं तेवढं. आणि आय डोंट बिलीव्ह दॅट काही फॅन्सी इक्विपमेंट लागतं. फ्रँकली कार्डबोर्ड बॉक्सेस पासून तुम्ही गोष्टी बनवू शकता जे कॅट एन्जॉय करतात. It is just like human children. You buy the most expensive toy, but they like to play with the box. So तसंच आहे. So you can advise really simple things which are in budget, and it just helps us to understand also ki where the client comes from, what is the budget, काय situation आहे घरची, and then we can help them better. So it's always a home visit.
That the cat needs to be hydrated as well as the food should be provided at all times. My question is whether a water fountain is required or a regular water bowl can do.
सो वॉटर फाउंटन थोडा महाग पडतो. सो मी असं सगळ्यांना म्हणत नाही की तुम्ही वॉटर फाउंटन्स ठेवा. आता इंडियन आहेत जे फ्रँकली एक ती मोटर असते फक्त, आणि त्याच्यानी सो तुम्ही जर ते बनवून घेऊ शकत असतात तर नथिंग लाईक इट. कारण रनिंग वॉटर हे कायम बेस्ट, बिकॉज दे ऑलवेज ड्रिंक फ्रॉम दॅट कट. इट्स नॅचरली इट्स क्लीन ना, वेन द वॉटर इज रनिंग इट्स क्लीन. ही एक इन्स्टिंक्ट असते. पण असं काही नाहीये. माझा जो पेट कॅट आहे तो स्टील वॉटर मधनं सुद्धा. पण तुम्ही काय प्रकारचं भांड वापरताय, तुम्ही प्लास्टिक युज केलं ना बरेचदा की त्याला वास, काहीतरी आधीचे वास किंवा असं थोडंसं स्मेल राहण्याची शक्यता, नीट क्लीन होत नाही. सो तुम्ही सिरॅमिक किंवा ग्लास किंवा स्टील असं वापरत असलात तर कदाचित त्यांना ते जास्त आवडतं. सो हे पण काय इंडिव्हिज्युअल कॅटच्या प्रेफरन्स वरती आहे. सो माझ्याकडे पण एक बोल बाहेर ठेवलेला आहे, एक मातीचाही बोल ठेवलेला आहे, एक इथे पण एक ठेवलेला आहे. सो ते वेगवेगळ्या मटेरियलचं मी ठेवलंय. सो ज्याला जे आवडते ते तो चूज करतो.
उन्हाळा आहे तर कॅट्सला हायड्रेटेड कसं ठेवावं? अपार्ट फ्रॉम वॉटर, व्हॉट इज द एक्स्ट्रा थिंग दॅट वी कॅन डू टू कीप आवर कॅट्स हायड्रेटेड?
अपार्ट फ्रॉम वॉटर, मेक शुअर यू इन्क्लूड मोर लिक्विडी स्टफ. म्हणजे फूडमध्ये आपण वेट फूड, फ्रेश फूड, ड्राय फूड देत असाल तर मेक शुअर यू गिव्ह अ लॉट ऑफ वॉटर. कारण ड्राय फूड इज डिहायड्रेटेड फूड. त्याच्याने अजून आपण म्हणू शकतो की तहान लागू शकते. ड्राय फूड जास्त, जे काय पर्सन्स असतात जे मला माहिती आहे ते डोंट ईट वेट फूड एट ऑल, ते फक्त ड्राय फूड खातात, त्यांना हा प्रॉब्लेम येतो डिहायड्रेशनचा. जे कॅट्स प्रायमरीली वेट फूड खातात ना त्यांना हा डिहायड्रेशनचा प्रॉब्लेम येत नाही, बिकॉज वेट फूड मध्ये भरपूर पाणी असतं. किंवा तुम्ही चिकन जरी बॉईल करून देत असाल, फिश जरी बॉईल करून, त्याच्यात पण तुम्ही सूप फॉर्मॅटमध्ये देऊ शकता ज्याच्यामध्ये भरपूर पाणी जातच पोटात. सो हा प्रायमरी प्रॉब्लेम फक्त ड्रायफूड खाणाऱ्या मांजरांना येतो, जे फक्त प्रायमरी आपण म्हणू शकतो दे आर ओनली बेस्ड ऑन अ ड्रायफूड डाएट. सो त्या लोकांनी थोडंसं जास्त काळजी घ्यावी मला वाटतं. जे वेट फूड खातात त्यांना एवढा इश्यू येतो.
मला काही लोकांनी विचारलं होतं की ग्लुकॉन-डी देऊ शकतो का? सो व्हॉट इज युअर टेक ऑन इट?
Sugar you can't give, you know that already, that sugar is not, it is absolutely a strict contraindication. आपण ग्लुकॉन-डी वगैरे नाही. सी पेट्सचं येतं जे डिहायड्रेशन सोल्युशन येतं, मी तुम्हाला दाखवीन ते तयार केलेलं, म्हणजे ते तयारच मिळतं बाटलीमध्ये रेडीमेड. जसं लहान मुलांना आजकाल टेट्रापॅक्स मध्ये मिळतं ना फ्लेवर्ड ORS कसं, तसं पेट्सचं आहे एक ओरल रिहायड्रेशन सोल्युशन येतं, अगदीच तुम्हाला ते द्यायचं असेल तर ते द्या, पण ग्लुकॉन-डी वगैरे नाही.
समजा जर एखादी कॅट पाणी पित नसेल तर सिरिंजने आपण डिरेक्टली पाणी देऊ शकतो का त्या कॅटला?
मला माहितीये there are few people who do that, but cats don't particularly like somebody coming and pushing things from a syringe. So that's why I always say that if that is like, that should be your last resort. If there is no other way that you're finding your cat is having water, then in that case you can do that. But I don't recommend.
Are these problems solvable in the long term, or is it more about managing them with the right tools and habits?
Yeah, so see, if there's an individual cat with a problem, it's easier to manage in the sense that I have solved these issues for long term, because it's, as I said, mostly lack of behavioral knowledge of cat, what it needs. And when people realize what they need, they immediately make all the changes and they give a feedback and no, everything is fine. Cat is not littering outside, she's not, urinating outside. When there are many cats, this is one thing I want to really discuss, that somehow people who like cats bring one, then bring another, bring one more. They थांबत नाही. I have seen 10 cats in 1 BHK, 15 cats in 2 BHK. You have to understand that cats are territorial no matter what. Even if they are domesticated, that territorial thing, you can't take that out of it. So you have now 15 territories in that 1 BHK or 2 BHK. It becomes very difficult. And a lot of cats then have inter-cat aggression, which is obvious when there are 15 territories in the house and you have resources. Are you going to keep 16 litter trays? You can't. Your house will only be a litter tray box. So I really urge people to think. Don't make spontaneous decisions of, it's just like instantaneous की आता मला रस्त्यावर एक दिसतंय आणि ते बिचारं दिसतंय म्हणून मी घेऊन येते आणि माझ्याकडे ऑलरेडी 6 cats आहेत. Don't do that. Because expression of natural behavior is a welfare thing. It's a very important thing. Cat should be able to express its natural behavior in the house. That means the welfare, त्याचा animal welfare तुम्ही त्या दृष्टीने विचार करताय, because it's very important. If there are 15 cats in your house, they have to share the resources. They have to fight for some of the resources. It's not possible for you. Then you'll have to, like 24/7, just keep on, doing this work only. 15 वेगळे bowls ठेवा खाण्याचे, 15 पाण्याचे bowls ठेवा, 15 लिटर ट्रे ठेवा. हे तुम्हाला जमणार आहे का बेसिकली? त्याच्यात इंटर कॅट अग्रेशन, लॉट ऑफ पीपल डोंट इवन गेट देअर पेट्स न्यूटर्ड किंवा हे. सो ह्या गोष्टींमुळे जे फाईट्स होतात, त्याच्यामुळे परत काही कॅट्स डिप्रेस होतात, त्याच्यामुळे परत स्किन इश्यूज किंवा युरिनेशन प्रॉब्लेम हे काही वेळेला सॉर्ट आउट होत नाहीत. Because लोक द्यायलाही, म्हणजे they are not ready to rehome their cat or look for other options. They want to have everybody in the same place. Then that becomes very difficult to treat. These are some of the problems. Those are the cases that remain. Most of the time it becomes very difficult to sort of sort those. If you have a big house, then you can still think of different ways of territory आपण थोडंसं बघू शकतो की कसं तुम्ही सेपरेट आउट करू शकता, पण छोट्या घरांमध्ये नाही होत. सो आय रिअली अर्ज पीपल दॅट यू कॅन गो आउट अँड फीड द कॅट्स, और यू कॅन टेक केअर ऑफ देम, यू कॅन टेक देम टू द वेट. तुम्ही कम्युनिटी कॅट म्हणून करू शकता, पण डोंट ब्रिंग इन ईच अँड एव्हरी कॅट इन द हाऊस, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट फेअर ऑन द cats that already are your pets. Yeah, so that is one thing.
For new or prospective cat parents, what is the one key behavioral tip you would offer to create a strong, happy relationship with their feline friend?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, there's a study called anthropomorphism, म्हणजे looking at attributing human qualities to things that are, things or animals that are not human. So, stop doing that. Treat a cat or even a dog as a cat or a dog. Respect them for the species that they are. Don't try to make them what you want them to be. I think that is where the problem is, that you're looking at this cat as a human child and then you try to put on clothes. That's ridiculous. Putting on clothes, putting on things, and mollycoddling, hugging, all that is okay for a human child, because we are social animals and we like hugging. Is something that we find it's a pleasant thing for us. It's a secure, it's a sign of a secured bond. But don't do that to species that don't like it. So I think my only tip is that treat your cat as a cat and not like a human, not like a dog also. People often treat cats like small dogs. They are not small dogs. They are extremely different behavior wise, even physiology wise, everything is different. So treat them like cat, respect that species. If you respect the species, if you find out what it actually needs and try to give them that, then behaviorally they are going to be, in a good position. And I feel health is ultimately not just absence of, a disease. It is, of course, physical, but it's emotional and also your cognitive. If you might be the healthiest person on the planet, but if you're depressed and frustrated, it doesn't make sense. So it's the same for cats. You may be providing him or her with the best food and everything, but if you're not taking care of the behavioral needs, if he's not able to express the natural behaviors as a cat, then he's a depressed cat and his quality of life is bad, welfare wise. So I think that is the only tip that I can give people.
So thank you for your time, Dr. Joshi.
You're most welcome.
Fanciers is elated to be a part of this educational series as a partner with AFF. Hey everyone, this is Kautuk Pampattivar, founder of Fanciers, a brand dedicated to all your furry friends. Thank you Absolute Feline Fanciers for considering us in your journey to educate the community.